when I wake on mornings and I am met with the realization that Clyde Maskell is not in government, that Tyrone Barker is not in government, that Owen Arthur is not in government, and that Anthony Wood is not in government, and that sitting at the head of this country's financial affairs is a man who is Clico's buddy, Sinclair, and that sitting in the seat of this country's financial management is a man called Jephthah Ince. Frankly, I've never heard the name Jephthah in my life. So whoever named him had to be just like him. But this gentleman, your next speaker, I've known him since, I believe, 1970. We played cricket together at Harrison College. He is one of the most highly educated economists in this region. He has taught at the University of the West Indies. He has been a fine student at Cambridge University. Anthony Wood left these humble shores and went to Cambridge University in England and excelled. He went where Sinclair will never go. He went where only Jephthah Ince can dream of going and will not qualify to go. He took a sabbatical after 2008 and went back to the university. But higher service demands that Anthony Wood should return to the service of the people of St. Philip South. The Barbados Labour Party and the people of Barbados all demand that Anthony Wood should return to the House of Assembly in this country, and that he should return to the Cabinet of Barbados and join arm in arm with Owen Seymour Arthur and take us out of this crisis and take us back to the glory that we have known before. And so it is my pleasure and my privilege to present to you Anthony Wood of St. Philip South.
Yeah, we ready to switch, fed up on them, so we ready to switch.
Okay.
Switch.
We done with them, we don't want them, knock them again.
That's why we switch.
We done with them, we don't want them, knock them again.
That's why we switch.
We done with them, we don't want them, knock them again.
Yeah, that's why we ready to switch, fed up on them, so we ready to switch. That's why we switch.
We done with them, we don't want them, knock them again.
That's why we switch.
We done with them, we don't.
Thank you very much, Ralph, for that splendid introduction. I've come here tonight to deliver a simple message. I've come here tonight to tell you that it is time that Barbadians rid this country of this Democratic Labour Party government. In the words of Sleepy Smith, he said to give them a chance, and if they don't perform after 5 years, kick them out. They got a chance. They walked, drove up and down the length of this country in the period leading up to the last election, leading Barbados to believe that beyond 14 years being too long for the Barbados Labour Party to be in power, that they had the answers to everything under the sun, notwithstanding the fact that Barbados was extremely capably managed by a team of persons led very astutely by Owen Arthur. So I can't agree with Sleepy Smith more. They got a chance. They told a whole set of lies and they engaged in acts of gross deception. And they got a chance. And in the words of Sleepy Smith, if they perform badly and if they don't perform, kick them out. And we will ensure that we engage in the right level of mobilization. But that is becoming a fairly easy task these days. But we will not be stopped in our drive to achieve the highest level of mobilization to kick them out. And Sleepy Smith is still alive and we want to make him happy because we are encouraging Barbadians to act on the words of Sleepy Smith. But ladies and gentlemen, this country has gone through a terrible period in the last 5 years. And the Barbados that we love so dearly deserves better. The Barbados that we love so dearly was accustomed to having better. And this Barbados Labour Party, we accept our responsibility because this is not the first time that Barbadians are left with no choice but to turn to the Barbados Labour Party in order to rescue this country and get it back on track. Some of us might have gone elsewhere since the last election and engaged in other activities. But I listened to Ralph carefully, and this is indeed a higher calling for myself. And notwithstanding what we do at the university to bring great comfort to ourselves, this is indeed a higher calling. Because I've had to live through 5 years in Barbados, and it seems as though all of what we worked so hard to build up and to achieve on behalf of the people of Barbados, that most of it has come tumbling down at the hands of a group of lying, incompetent persons in a short space of time. And by now, every single Barbadian, irrespective of who they support, must be asking a fundamental question. Why is it that whenever the Democratic Labour Party is in power, that Barbados has to go through this economic mess? And why is it that when they turn to the Barbados Labour Party, that we are in a position not just to correct the mess, but to advance this country by leaps and bounds, so that the prosperity from a macroeconomic perspective achieved by this country could indeed be shared by all? You must ask yourself that question. And when you seek to find the answer to the question, it is not that we think we have a monopoly on governing this country, but by the demonstration of incompetence by the Democratic Labour Party, I am convinced, and you're convinced, that we have a monopoly on running the country well, and not necessarily that we feel that we have a monopoly on running the country in perpetuity. Ladies and gentlemen, it pains me. It pains me to see, and sometimes I feel defenseless, notwithstanding how kind I might be, and how I might want to reach out to persons and indeed reach out to many persons on a daily basis. You feel defenseless knowing that Barbadians need better, Barbadians deserve better, and just because they made a mistake and error in judgment, this is the result that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, this Democratic Labour Party must indeed go down in history. Yes, previous Democratic Labour Party governments were indeed incompetent. But this one must go down in history as the most incompetent administration this country has ever seen. I have never witnessed an administration before, and I hope I will never witness an administration afterwards that has found it fit. And if you net out a few persons who have been given the opportunity to live large on the hog and get rich extremely quickly, that the remainder, the other 98% of Barbadians, have been affected in a negative way, and in some cases in a serious way. And I can start calling some of them. The young people in Barbados. The young people in Barbados were promised plenty. The Democratic Labour Party even provided a youth manifesto as part of their preparation for the last election. The young people in Barbados fell for it. And I have lived to see that in 5 years, as a result of the lack of action on the part of the Democratic Labour Party with regard to policies and programs directed at the young people, there is too high a level of frustration and disillusionment and confusion amongst young people in Barbados. And it is a dangerous, dangerous thing. And I know that a high level of frustration resides with the young people because from where I work at the University of the West Indies, that level of frustration and disillusionment has pervaded that environment at the University of the West Indies. But the young people at the university, they have all reason to feel that the Democratic Labour Party has betrayed them in a major, major way, because these wicked, wicked people who call themselves managers and who have authority to run the affairs of this country, they have launched a serious assault on that prestigious regional institution that is located at Cave Hill. And they have had the worst things to say about the principal of the University of the West Indies here, including they have this big worry with my boss as to why he should allow someone like myself, highly trained, very intellectual, to return to the University of the West Indies from whence I came to get involved in politics. They have a big concern of me going back to make a serious contribution to the development of young people through the University of the West Indies experience. So they, notwithstanding all the money that they have raked in, and notwithstanding making a reversal on many of the economic policies that were contained in their manifesto, they can see it fit to owe that institution a whopping $200 million and expect the quality of the delivery from the university to be maintained. But I want to stand on this platform and I want to indeed praise my boss and all the others up there for notwithstanding what they are aiming to do to undermine the professionalism and the quality of the offering at the university, that we have been able to maintain it. Because we have engaged in a higher spirit of commitment at the university, and we have decided that we will not be brought down by these wicked people that withholding the monies owed to the university, and the debt now has reached $200 million Barbados dollars. And all this has happened at a time when the Barbados Labour Party had agreed with an educational policy which said that we will aim recognizing the benefits, the dividends to national development as a result of training a higher level, a higher percentage of the age cohort, 20 and above at university level. And the only body who can understand that it is important for national development to have a higher percentage of your population trained at the highest level is that group of incompetent, lawless, foolish people in the Democratic Labour Party. But it goes a little further than that. They've threatened the young people in major, major ways, besides they wanting to undermine and to bring ruin and hurt to what we do at Cave Hill. You remember, this Barbados Labour Party administration is seeking to carry everybody forward and let them benefit from the prosperity that the country was experiencing. We took a deliberate decision that those boys and girls who lay on the block in this country, that they had a stake in this country, and we needed to find a mechanism through which they can participate in national development. And Miss Mortley, previous Minister of Education, and then we had Gabby Greenidge and Reggie Frawley and myself. That was indeed historic, that the government recognizing that young people, if they choose to lie on the block, that is their business. I choose to lie elsewhere where they want to recreate. You choose to lie at places where you want to recreate. And if those young persons choose to lie on the block, some of them are extremely intelligent, some of them have unique skills, but all they needed was to be reached out to. And we developed this project called the Project Oasis that was designed to help those folks on the block and to bring them back into mainstream social and economic activity right here in Barbados so that the country could benefit and benefit handsomely from the skills and the experience that reside in those folks. And we sent out a team from the Division of Youth Affairs led by our distinguished director at the time, Richard Carter, to ensure that evidence was gathered on the needs and the desires of those folks on the block. And we built a program, Project Oasis, that was evidence-based, so that when we took the projects and the programs to the folks on the block, there were indeed the programs that they said they wanted. Some of them wanted to engage in landscaping. We provided that equipment. Some of them wanted to get back into educational pursuits, and we provided those opportunities at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic and just not too far from here at the Pommery, the hotel school. And these wicked, vicious, vindictive rats as they are, unassuming office, because that was indeed a project that benefited large numbers of young persons. Notwithstanding what they told the young people during the campaign, they abandoned the young people, they dismantled the projects, and the folks and ladies on the block now are back where they were before we implemented the project. But it goes a little further than that, because we recognize and you recognize that if the young people are supposed to be the future of this nation, you have to provide proper training opportunities for them. You have to give them hope. You have to give them the feeling that they have contributions to make, and the system is indeed accommodating enough to allow those young people to participate. And we said, yes, we have built out the university, and we are proud of our institution, and it is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and we are very proud of that. But we said to ourselves that national development, and if we are to compete in a world that is extremely competitive, that we need to focus some attention on the non-traditional, non-academic areas. And we led an effort, previous Minister of Education, and we took that planning effort. It was about 6 months away before the establishment of the University College of Barbados that would allow this country to gain the benefits from homegrown training in the non-traditional academic areas. And most of the planning work was done, and those wicked people not understanding the importance of what it is we are trying to do to secure this country's national development way into the future, and in accordance with the National Strategic Plan, which had set for ourselves a noble objective of achieving small island developed status by 2020. And not even though the planning for the establishment of the University College of Barbados was just about 6 to 8 months away, and I can assure you that if we were returned to power in the election of January of 2008, the University College of Barbados would have seen the light of day in September of 2008. And they abandoned that project, noble and important as it is, because it was associated with the Barbados Labour Party, or simply because they did not understand the strategic importance of the University College of Barbados as we sought to secure the social and economic gains Barbados had achieved in the 14 years of Owen-Arthur's reign. So they had abandoned that. They have us on the edge. They have the community college on the edge. They have the Samuel Jackman Prescott College on the edge. So what are the young people supposed to do? But I want to tell you that in coming here to support Dr. Maria Agard, I'm supporting someone who has a passion for young people. I'm supporting someone, I don't have to tell you about her academic acumen, but her passion to see that the lives of persons in Barbados are improved And that is what I've come here to remind you of, that you have an able person, you have a gentle person, and you have someone who's been involved in community life for a number of years, someone who has participated in the politics of the Barbados Labour Party in this area for a number of years, and someone who deserves the chance to represent this constituency in the House of Assembly after February the 21st. But we need to do more. Yes, they have deceived young people, and I focus on that core heart of society. But this Democratic Labour Party, because of the colossal lies that they have been telling you, they have not been able to focus on the prize. And the prize that they should have focused on is assembling an able and a capable enough team of persons to ensure that the economic gains that this country was able to achieve between 1994 and 2008, that those gains were not lost. As I drove here, there's some billboards spread across Barbados. These billboards are in the name of the Democratic Labour Party. And a couple of these billboards read as follows: vote for the DLP, providing economic leadership and securing jobs. Some foolishness like that. But I've learned that everything that comes out of the mouth, everything that is written in the name of the Democratic Labour Party, that you should believe the opposite. You should believe the opposite. And I'm going to give you enough evidence that you should believe the opposite to everything that is written on those billboards. They tell you that they have provided economic stability, fancy words, and they are providing economic leadership, and they are securing jobs. So a vote for the Democratic Labour Party is a vote to secure jobs. But ladies and gentlemen, nobody in this audience, nobody in Barbados foolish. The Democratic Labour Party, because they are such compulsive liars and they began to believe their own lies, they feel that people in Barbados are foolish. You are supposed to vote for the Barbados Labour Party, the Democratic Labour Party, for them to secure jobs. But since the last election, a whopping 16,000 people have been sent home from the private sector. And if that is their notion of securing jobs, I would not like to be wrong when they come to a realization that they can secure jobs. Because if 16,000 people can be sent home in the space of 5 years, and in their opinion, that represents a situation of securing jobs, I would not like to be wrong when they admit that they're not securing jobs. They're providing economic stability at a time when the Barbados economy, in the eyes of external credit rating agencies, have moved from a reasonable rating, reasonable investment rating, and now we are achieving, and we have achieved, junk bond status. So while we are achieving such a status, the Democratic Labour Party, in their assessment, they are providing economic stability, when in the eyes of independent, internationally renowned and recognized assessors, Barbados is indeed classified as junk. But while that classification, we have to live with that, they are saying that we have achieved economic stability. They are providing economic leadership at a time when all sectors in this economy are being decimated. And you cannot look at any sector that you can say under the management of the Democratic Labour Party that can lead us out of this mess. This area here is in the environs of the tourism belt on that side of Barbados. Yeah. And they're telling us that they're providing economic leadership at a time when 31 tourism-related properties have closed in Barbados since in the last 4 years. And that has taken out of the active and usable room stock in Barbados 1,300 rooms. You understand the consequence to that the negative consequence to that for people who were employed in the tourism industry. Tourism is supposed to be the engine of growth, the main growth sector, the sector that predominantly pays the bill in Barbados. And they're providing leadership, economic leadership, at a time when our main foreign exchange earning sector has been brought to its knees. They got down in Passage Road the other night, and they came to Barbados in an attempt to conquer Barbados. You know what they have said? They admitted to Barbadians that they could not do any better, that they have done the best that they can do. What I say to you, as I leave to go and take my place on the platform in St. Philip South, that if that is the best that they can do, and I must tell you that that is the only thing that might be truthful that have fallen from the lips of the Democratic Labour Party in the last 5 years, that they have done the best they could do. We could not do any better. But I want you to know that Maria Agard is part of a team that is accustomed to doing a lot better. And I want you all to give us Maria Agard, very intelligent lady, but just as importantly, a very committed lady to the cause of the people in Christchurch West. So I give her to us. Don't worry about St. Philip South and many other constituencies, because the country cannot afford the Barbados Labour Party not to win the next election. Ladies and gentlemen, it was indeed a pleasure of mine. I'm sorry I can't stay a little longer, but good night and may God bless you all.
Yeah, we ready to switch, fed up on them, so we ready to switch.
Okay.
Switch.
We done with them, we don't want them, knock them again.
That's why we switch.
We done with them, we don't want them.